A highlight on the sideline, defensive end Derrick Rambo Hunter. You reported that he got some special treatment. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's just kind of interesting because he goes to Clemson first, and then he gets to Georgia, and he gets to Georgia right around 10 a.m. on G-Day, and Coach Smart is in the middle of a meeting with all the 2018 signees, some orientation, some introductory stuff. They had their first physicals at Georgia for the 2018 signees, but as soon as he learns that Rambo Hunter is in the house, he breaks off. He finds somebody else to commandeer that meeting and spends what I'm told was about an hour with Rambo Hunter talking about everything he wanted to know about Georgia. Derrick Hunter made his first ever trip to the University of Georgia. Everybody knows what the top of his Twitter bio looks like. He's a guy that told me after the visit that Georgia is clearly his number one.
Why wasn't he on the sidelines?
Well, it was so funny because like if you're in my role, you're trying to get as many pictures as possible of all these guys. And what happens is your eyes just kind of tell you what to do. I'm looking for this 6'7" dude that weighs 285 pounds with the dreads. And that never showed up. I never saw him on the sidelines. Well, it turns out I asked Derrick about it, and he says, man, I can't stay on them sidelines, man. If I get too close to the game, it just turns my stomach that he can't go out there and play. So that's why he tried to stay in the stands a lot and not get too close to the action, because he can't take being on a football field and not being able to play.
We saw some pictures of him just then in the Florida jerseys. What jerseys did he try on G-Day?
Well, he was at G-Day, and he made sure to check on those jerseys, and he put on the number 7 Georgia jersey. That's the one reserved for Lorenzo Carter. He said that's a special number to him. He wants to wear that one in college. He made sure to get several pictures with that red jersey. He just told me, essentially, here's a sneak preview of tonight's intel. He says there's just something different about Georgia. Look for him to cut down to a top 8 in the middle of this week, to a top 8 number of schools, and those Bulldogs are definitely going to be in that number.
A few more questions on Derrick Rambo Hunter I have for you. You also reported that a recruit got into his ear. Who was that?
Well, I'm going to let everybody, this is called show interaction, Hannah, so this is what we're going to do. There is a 2019 recruit that has some sort of power of persuasion, and he got into his ear and started telling him about Georgia. He spoke to Derrick Hunter and some other high-value targets, and he told them about that Georgia is the place to be. And I want everybody out there in Cyberstream to tell me, who do you think that Bulldog was that was doing some recruiting on behalf of the University of Georgia? And if you get the answer, I'm curious to see the answer, but it's about as easy as figuring out a lot of people having a good time on a bachelorette weekend.
What do they get if they win?
They don't get anything, but you know that.
From Kroger.
You know this, guys. If you can think of any one Georgia 2019 commitment that does some recruiting on the down low, who's that going to be in 2019?
All right, last question on him. You mentioned that Georgia is, of course, one of his top schools. He's planning to cut it down to his final 8 soon?
Yeah, he's going to make that decision. I think it's April the 25th.
Okay.
He had some time trying to get to what school was the 8th school. He kind of felt the first 7 were the way to go, and Derrick is getting a little bit of fatigue carrying all this burden of schools and talking to coaches, and he tells me he's going to be a little bit relieved to kind of break it down to a final 8.